Hello, welcome to Topper Machine. I'm Josh Topper, and today is our follow-up video to the shaft turning, the big shafts that I turned out on the Lion lathe here. And many of you saw we had some chatter issues, and I resolved that by moving the part into the chuck further, which I didn't want to do just because I wanted that rigid stop so I didn't have to measure each time, but it worked out. Now, many of you caught it, some of you did not, but the reason for that chatter was nothing to do with the machine, actually. It was because I was still using this piece of crap center. This TML&x that we proved in the last video was bad. I didn't know it at the time. Actually, these videos are coming out of order. Most of these videos were shot about 2 months ago, 3 months ago. So I'm working on the editing and putting stuff out. Now, that's the old center. It is not adjustable, as I showed in the last video, and it has a lot of slop. I mean, I can grab the tip here and feel it moving. This does not use taper bearings. I've had it apart trying to adjust it. So with that failure, I bought this guy. This is a 𝐬𝐲. It is adjustable. There's this collar here and a little set screw, and you just tighten it up to set the preload on the bearing as needed as it wears in. So these are an amazing center. I've got an Interstate brand for the Monarch that's a 4 Morse taper. This is a 5. And that Interstate brand, it's a knockoff of the 𝐬𝐲, has been an amazing center over the years. I know 𝐿 makes a knockoff of the 𝐬𝐲. Same exact thing, adjustable, got this ring out here so you can set that preload. These things are the cat's ass of centers. I absolutely love them, they are very good. This one I bought from KBC Tools, and I haven't used it since I got it, and it's been 2 months sitting here, so I haven't, the little bit of work I've had coming in, I haven't had center work to do. So, been all short stuff, close to the chuck, so that's good. I haven't needed it, but I know that center is good, the way they're designed. So that was my whole chatter problem. I guarantee you I do that job again, that chatter problem will go away. My comment about the lathe not being as heavy as the old stuff is very true. These new modern machines, they've lightened them up so much. This is a very good, robust machine. When I was looking to buy a newer lathe, I looked at a lot of different options, you know, the Taiwan machines, the China machines, the Summits, and the Lions. And the whole thing come down to the Summit and the Lion were the only machines that were clutched. And I will not own a machine that is not clutched, a lathe. Gotta have a clutch. They're just so much better to operate, so much smoother. You know, when you engage that clutch, you can feather it and float that part right up to speed instead of snapping it on. And, you know, a lot of the machines that, you know, they're on off don't have a VFD, so they don't, you'd have to add that. I don't want that extra crap. So I wanted a clutched machine. That's why I bought the Lion. And I am very happy with it overall. No issues. And blaming the machine was totally on me. It was not the machine, not at all. Which I found out it was that crappy center. So annoying, so annoying. Now, some people asked, you know, why I didn't leave the steady rest up there, and I just didn't feel it was necessary. It wouldn't really help. That being a very heavy, solid shaft, I just did not feel it would really matter. And, you know, by moving it in the chuck and shortening up my choke on it, that took care of all of the chatter. Well, it took all of it out. So that wasn't even an issue. Didn't matter to me one bit. Maybe the steady rest would have helped. Very unlikely. A few people suggested a follow rest. We didn't have any deflection. That shaft was too heavy, too rigid to deflect from tool pressure, especially with those light cuts. So that wouldn't have helped either. The whole issue was entirely this crappy center. And I'm going to hang on to this center because eventually I might tear it down, pull it all apart, and just see if there's a way to even modify it to a better bearing. But I really am curious how it all goes together. Because once I got that end cover off and pulled that end bearing out and saw it was a needle bearing without taper, I knew this thing was absolute garbage. There's just no way that can work. You know, a tapered bearing, you put that load on it and it's gonna seat, it's gonna bite, and it's gonna hold right where it needs to, and it's gonna run good. A needle bearing, straight needle, is not gonna do that. So there were some questions on the TG&P. What was the benefits of that? I personally would rather have started with a piece of 3.5 inch or, you know, something a little bit bigger, 1045, and turn down that step so that I don't have to, on the next video, match, actually it's not the next video, it's the video after, where I have to match the bore of that sprocket to the shaft for the shrink fit. I would personally rather do that. Start with something a little bigger, turn the whole thing down to what's needed. The reason we don't is the material is customer specified. They want that material, they want certs, they want proof. So you're kind of stuck with what the customer asks for. Now, over the years of doing this TG&P stuff, I've come across some really good vendors, and the cost of the TGP versus taking something a little bigger and turning it down actually comes out a wash. I've got one vendor right now that nobody can touch their prices on their TG&P. They do it all in-house. They bring the bar stock in, they turn, grind, and polish it all in-house. So their cost is significantly less than anybody else. It's been a great find for me to find a vendor like that. So that's been wonderful. I'm not going to get into a lot of details on the ignorant comments. There were a lot of ignorant comments on this video about how I could do this better on a CNC. You need CNC, blah, blah, blah. 99% of my work is maintenance machining, repair machining, not production machining. There is no need for CNC at all. And for those who have said, oh, you don't like it because you don't know it. I worked in CNC shops. I've been around the stuff enough. I didn't like it. I enjoy this. That is why I do this. We had one jackass, you know, telling me my business is failing because I don't have CNC, and that's just totally ignorant and wrong. I'm failing because my region is dying. The infrastructure is vanishing, the customer base is vanishing, and without going into too much detail on this, there is a magical border that people refuse to ship across. I get calls from all over the country, but as soon as they find out where I am, oh, that's too far. So that's why things have been failing. But I'm persevering, working through it. We do have our product lines, the pin jaws, those are available in 4, 6, and 8 inch. And I've got a lot of backup plans to backup plans to backup plans. So I'm not really going anywhere, but there's a lot of things in the works. So there'll be a lot of things changing in the next year, a lot of things happening. We'll just leave it at that. But the general population is very ignorant. I'm going to say that. So I'll probably lose a lot of subscribers over that comment, but it's true. It is absolutely true. They are very ignorant. So I hope you enjoyed this follow-up video. And stay tuned. Like I said, a lot of neat stuff coming, a lot of sawmill stuff this year. We're going to do some modifications to that, probably try to get the building put up. Steam engine work, we've got to make the piston for that yet. There's lots of neat stuff coming, so stick around to the channel, stay tuned. Things are coming that are going to be fun, along with a really big top secret job at some point. So with that, till next time, get out in your shop and get it done right the first time.